Hi, Dr. Worley. This is Jeremy and
I'm
my
Mike.
partner Mike. Our clinical rotation was at Diageo and Corporate Fitness this time around. So some practical skills we performed. We performed the heart rate assessment. We did max heart rate estimation. We also looked at blood pressure resting, body fat testing. So we did some skin fold assessments as well as the sit and reach part of the evaluation process for the Corporate Fitness Center.
We also did some program design with the in the TRX class. As far as educational info goes, we felt the most practical class that this clinical related to was EX362, exercise testing and prescription. So we went over various methods of body fat composition, and so skin folds, air displacement, water displacement, and bioelectroimpedance. So in class we went over how to do all those, how accurate they all are. Of course, the water hydrostatic weighing is the gold standard, but again, for most places like Diageo Corporate Fitness, that's not really an option because it takes a lot of space and it's expensive, and most people don't want to do it.
So at Diageo, Carlos, our instructor, kind of went over skin fold again with us. We performed it on him, and he also gave us a few tricks of kind of how to get a consistent measurement. He also showed us a new body fat assessment tool, which is called the Sculpt. So similar to the bioelectrical impedance, it was a little tool that was used on different body parts to assess the body fat in those regions, and you could get an estimation for the total body fat percentage for the whole body. So it was pretty interesting.
It's basically a more accurate type of bioelectrical impedance because instead of sending the impulse through the entire body, it would send it just through that specific body area, and then it would get an estimation for the body fat based on those. And it was only about that big and only $100, so it's definitely a viable option for any kind of corporate fitness like Diageo. And for their assessments, they also do skin folds, which we learned in class is just getting an estimation of the subcutaneous fat.
So moving on, some of the new training methodologies that we saw, we've never really been exposed to TRX training.
Any group classes, really.
Or group classes in general. And at Diageo, we had both attended corporate fitness classes. I did a TRX and we both did a crazy cardio.
I also did Machine Madness, which is a circuit workout.
So we decided to do a little more research on TRX training. So we looked up an article. It was TRX suspension training, a new functional training approach for older adults, development, training control, and feasibility. So although it was looking at older adults, there was a lot we could pull from it and relate to this clinical setting. The researchers talked about how how the TRX can be used and can be adjusted in so many ways, so it really can be used by all populations. They used multiple different stages, and at each stage, the participants in the study all felt like they had a maximal workout. And the study reported client retention of 91%, and that's kind of what we saw at Diageo, isn't it?
Yeah, so at Diageo, we saw a lot of repeat clients coming. So when we attended the TRX class, for example, most of the people there were very experienced in TRX because they have been doing it with Carlos for, whether it be years, months, whatever. But they all seemed to be very engaged and loved it, and they all come back. So it's very. I personally felt that I would come back if that was offered to me at a corporate fitness setting.
So participating in those classes, I mean, me and Mike definitely felt the classes. I mean,
Yeah,
we were
tough.
hurting at the end, which is interesting because there was all different age groups in there, and Mike and I are both 21-year-old male, pretty athletic, hopefully pretty athletic kids.
I'd like to think so.
But it was nice because the TRX allows you to adjust. You can just adjust your feet, and that changes the resistance. And what was interesting was Carlos did these timed workouts, so you just did as many cycles as you could in that time. So you never felt like somebody was making you look bad, or you were never
Intimidated.
Intimidated
It wasn't
by
an intimidation factor.
Yeah, you were never intimidated by the person next to you because you were constantly working at your own pace, trying to get it done, which is kind of what we saw in the study we looked at.
Yeah, we personally think that the retention rate is due to that less intimidation, but still getting the good workout. People want to come back to that. Also in the study, they did 30-minute workouts because they were working with like an older population. With Carlos, he did hour-long workouts. That includes the warm-up and the cool-down. But I mean, it's a very ranging population, so probably 25 to like 55, mostly in that class. So they were able to do a longer time than the study showed.
Anything else?
I haven't got anything.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Worley, and we look forward to starting our next clinical rotation.
Thank you.